Anyone tracking us?
No, not that I can see. And it looks like... Yep, there. Tau Volantis. Ah!
What is it? Are you okay?
I saw just a flash, but images of... conflict. A huge battle. Humans. Creatures.
Or whatever it was. We know where the answer to the markers, the necromorphs, to all of this lies.
I'm not so sure. Ellie, if you'd seen what I just saw, there was a power there unlike anything we've encountered. How could it not be tied to the markers?
Oh, this is a waste of time, Isaac. Everything we know tells us the source of the markers is on Tau Volantis.
Yeah, you're probably right. But I can't ignore this. I have to at least see for myself what it's all about. Stay on course. If I can, I'll catch up to you later.
We'll make sure you do, Isaac.
Would Isaac Clarke survive the season-long contract in Lethal Company? Hello there everyone, hope you guys are having a fantastic day or night, and welcome to this new video. In this video, I posed the question, do I think Isaac Clarke from Dead Space, would he be able to survive the season-long contract in Lethal Company? So how I came to make this video is actually from my friend who recently bought and played the new Dead Space remake. I don't know exactly how I thought of this idea, but it just kind of came to me one day when I was like eating and about to go to bed. And I was like, that's a great idea.
But Strauss said we can destroy the marker!
Not if we can shoot you first!
God damn it, I trusted you! Fuck you! And fuck your marker!
So to get things started, we'll take a look at Lethal Company first and get everyone up to speed on what the contract exactly is. So to make a short story even shorter, the contract is explained via the logs inside of Lethal Company's many moons. The logs is written from the point of view of Sigurd and his crew. I won't go into a lot of depth on what they talk about inside the logs and what happens. So if you'd be interested in that, you could look at other videos, or maybe I'll make a video of my own. However, inside the log, Sigurd does mention he does remember signing a contract, but he forgets when and how long ago. The contract plays into the gameplay loop of Lethal Company. Every 3 days, you must bring the required scrap to the company to continue contract, and there will technically be a legal end to said contract. But we don't officially know how long that contract would be. It's clear that in the contract, they are increasing the required quota way quicker than anyone would feasibly be able to collect it. They essentially set you up for failure. Since this contract is technically impossible, we'll make the contract actually completable, but leave no room for error. On average, I'd say each quota increases by 100, so I'll go with that. In that case, you'd be able to reach 48 days until you would fail. 48 days is nowhere near a season-long contract, which I'd say is at least 3 months. To make this doable, we'll say quota increases only 50 every time the previous quota is met. That doubles to 48 to 96. So 90 days for a contract, you can reach the end of it if everything goes to plan. So Isaac must reach 90 days to survive his contract with an extra 6 days as leeway in case some days end up as failures. Now, to do a quick summary of what Isaac is capable of, in case people don't know much about him.
The world is a vampire sent to drain.
Now I have a script for this part. Before I actually get into my scripted section, I just want to gush over how badass Isaac Clarke is. He is a regular dude, just an engineer, killing goddamn necromorphs to prevent a goddamn outbreak and looking cool while doing it. He is penultimate, maximum badass you could reach in a horror game. Simple as. And anyone that disagrees, I will fight them. He is out here seeing visions of his dead girlfriend. Sorry if that's a spoiler. He is literally denying this like cosmic horror its right over its mind. He is like pushing his psyche to the max. He is not letting the marker influence him. Well, he kind of does, but for the most part, he denies it. And he might be insane, and he might not have a great life, but he's up there, all right? He is like top 5 horror protagonists. Okay, we'll actually go back to the script now. I think I'm done. Isaac Clarke is a system engineer for the CEC, also known as the Concordance Extraction Corporation. A major player for Isaac is his IQ. In the Dead Space community, a lot of people argue about how smart Isaac is, and particularly his IQ. Some would like to argue he is nothing less than a genius, while others just compare him to a regular engineer. I will gauge his smarts based on what we know about him from the games. From the first game and in the remake, Isaac knows how to repair basically the entire Planet Cracker ship USG Ishimura. So it's safe to say that Isaac knows how to repair anything inside of a Planet Cracker. I also don't think that anyone could just know how to repair anything inside a Planet Cracker, so for me, I think Isaac is maybe not a genius per se, but he definitely is up there, above average for sure. Besides his above average intellect, as I've decided, he's also very handy and resourceful. For example, in the second game, he took a surgical systems carver off to make a makeshift plasma cutter for himself.
Jesus,
Calm
man.
down. I'll cut you out of there. Is that a tissue laser? A plasma cutter?
Oh my God!
I'm trying!
Alright, I'm sure if Isaac actually saved him, that guy on the bed would totally have dapped him up. Not only that, every engineer has their rig, and Isaac, of course, has his engineer's rig. It has a built-in navigation unit, thrusters for zero gravity, and plated armor for protection for on-the-job hazards. And for tools, as that goes, he has his trusty plasma cutter, which is a cutter using plasma, hence the name plasma cutter. I think without a doubt, if he had his suit, and he also had his plasma cutter, he would easily surpass the 90 days required. So to make this more fair, since I modified the contract, we will be modifying Isaac a little bit. We are getting rid of his plasma cutter, as that would be able to kill anything and any creature he would come across inside the planets and different moons of Lethal Company. We will also be removing his advanced engineer's rig. If he were to have that, he'd be a walking tank. He would also have a navigations unit. He would never get lost. He would always just be one step ahead of the curve. So Isaac is just going in by himself with none of his gear, and the only gear he can use is the gear inside of Lethal Company. So that is the orange work uniform from the game, the different zap guns, shovels, signs, stun grenades, etc. So with that said, can Isaac survive the harsh 90 days? Let's do a quick breakdown of each obstacle and see how we'd handle it. I personally don't think Isaac would struggle much with the moons themselves, such as their hazards and obstacles. All they really offer are sinkholes and quicksand and then the occasional pit that you can fall into. Weather though, however, is a different story. I could only really see flooded and stormy weather messing with Isaac for a bit, each with their obvious reasons, drowning from the flood and lightning from the storm. But he would quickly figure those two out, most likely just avoid them early on. Inside the facility themselves, I also don't think Isaac would have a problem. The jumping gaps would be nothing for him since he's used to his common fixes as an engineer. Turrets and landmines would be the only thing he would have a remote problem with, since they can block paths completely with their placements. Oh my god! And he'd be by himself with no one to disable them. For a majority of monsters, I think Isaac would be fine, so I'll just go over the ones that I think have a higher chance of killing him than the others. First up, of course, we have the Bracken. Trying to figure out the Bracken the first time you see it would be near impossible, I think. You would have to be ultra lucky to survive the first couple encounters with one if you don't know how they fully work yet. He would likely figure out that they leave on a quick glance, but what would kill him is the fact that he wouldn't know that if you look at one too much, they come back to kill you. Plus, they're just very quiet and stealthy for that fact too. Next up, I'd say Thumper. I say the Thumper because they can move extremely quick if you're seen, and Isaac isn't a very fast runner. If in a maze with no door or exit, they can easily jump and kill you. You would need to have a very quick exit strategy nearby. After that, we have the Snare Flea. Isaac would have to be extremely lucky not to die upon his first encounter with one, because you wouldn't think to look up when you've encountered it. Up until this point, all the creatures have been on the floor, and plus you're always looking down to look at loot. I would say 90% of players who have encountered a Snare Flea die at their first encounter. After that, for the last one I think, is Nutcracker. His only chance would be seeing it from far away and learning it, because if you're right up next to him, you're immediately getting lit up. He would also have to hope that he's far enough to where the shotgun doesn't immediately kill him and pawn one blast. So I think the Bracken, Thumper, Snare Flea, and Nutcracker would be his worst opponents. Now, I hear some of you saying, but what about the Ghost Girl? And I have a counterpoint.
Isaac!
You were drifting away for a moment there, Mr. Clarke. I believe you were telling me about your nightmares that you've been having. About your dead girlfriend. What was her name?
I didn't want it to end like this. I really wanted to see you again. Just once. I loved you. I always loved you.
Yes. Nicole Brennan. She was a senior medical officer stationed aboard a Planet Cracker-class vessel.
Ishimura.
USG Ishimura, yes. Part of a mining operation on Aegis 7. I understand communications went down shortly after their arrival. You were part of the repair mission. A mission for which you volunteered, am I right? What did you find aboard that ship, Isaac?
They found something.
What did they find aboard the ship, Isaac?
The marker.
Did you have contact with this marker? It made you see things, didn't it? Things you didn't want to see.
It spoke to me.
And what did it say, Isaac? What did it say to you, Isaac? Isaac? Isaac, can you hear me?
Isaac in his games is borderline schizophrenic, just induced from the marker. So seeing a ghost girl would probably not be a huge surprise for him, as he already sees his dead girlfriend very regularly. He would also understand what's going on after seeing her disappear around a corner and him going to look for her. So with those things laid out, those are the things that I think could kill him. Do I think Isaac would have the strength, stamina, and endurance to last 3 continuous months of risking his everyday life? Really, as a fan of Dead Space, I cannot say with 100% certainty Isaac would make it. If I had to choose, I think he would fail his contract just from the wear and tear we put on him. He isn't a super soldier, he's just a guy who's pretty smart. His entire run would have to depend on him being extremely lucky with his first encounters with the monsters I said earlier. If anything goes wrong the first maybe 5 to 10 days, I think that's as far as he's just going to make it. Now, if he manages to make it past, I'd say the first 2 weeks, I give him a good shot to make it through to the last month. The only thing is that quota would become so high in that last month, his quota would be just around 6,130 entering his final month. That is a ridiculous amount of quota, which means every day he would need to pull in at least 2,000 plus worth of items. The constant back and forth and pressure of beating quota would mean he would have to push himself further every successful deadline. So in short, in the perfect circumstances, yes, I think Isaac would survive a season-long contract, but however, nothing ever goes 100% as planned, so I think there's a more likely chance that he would die trying to meet the quota. Hey there everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. If I got anything wrong about Lethal Company or Isaac Clarke and Dead Space as a whole, please leave it down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. If I do leave anything out that is huge for Lethal Company or Dead Space, I'll pin the comment for others to see at the top of the list. But as I said, if you did enjoy the video, please leave a like on it, put a lot of work into it, and I had a lot of fun making this. So if you'd like to see any more of this, consider subscribing and telling your friends about me. I don't really know what kind of other videos I'll make in the future, but like I said, I had fun making this, so who knows. But definitely will be horror related. So in the meantime, guys, I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Hope you have a great rest of your day and or night. Bye bye!